It's Wednesday, October 12, 2023, and we've just left the Great Harbor Marina for what is likely to be our last sail of the 2023 season. Judging from the wind in here, which I'll show you, it's not going to be a particularly boisterous sail. Winds are forecast to be light and variable today. So that's what we've got. It's supposed to be quite windy, you know, with gusts up into 30 mile an hour or more range for the next 3 to 4 days. So when we get back to the dock this afternoon, we're going to take the sails down and get the boat ready to come out of the water, because Haulout is scheduled for 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday the 18th. So that's the plan right now, and this is our last trip with sails. Now next Tuesday, if the wind isn't too bad, it's supposed to be a little lighter than for the next 4 days, we might be able to take the boat out under power. We'll just have to see how it goes. But certainly next week, Tuesday and maybe early Wednesday morning, I will be winterizing systems so the boat will be ready to haul out. Okay, I'll come back when we actually get some sail up. Right now, motoring out of the harbor, we're going straight into the wind such as it is, and it feels like we might have 4 knots. And since we're motoring into it at 3.6, that means there's not much wind. Right now, I don't think there's enough wind to actually support the weight of our Genoa when we unroll it. So we'll find out. Well, we're headed north towards Somme Sound. We initially thought we might sail up Somme Sound today, but we're going 1 knot right now under sail. And the tide is going out, and it's probably running 1.5 to 2 knots out of Somme Sound. So if we're going to be making 1 knot through the water, that would mean that we'd be going 1/2 knot to 1 knot backwards. So it doesn't seem like a day when we can successfully sail up Somme Sound. Haven't been up there this summer. Maybe next week, when the wind calms down a little, we can take the boat out under power and motor up there. But today is the last day we're going to sail this summer, because I'm going to take the sails off when we get back to the dock. Because, you know, light air is the perfect time to take the sails down. Yeah, at least today I do not have to worry about wind interrupting the audio with the camera. So let's stick the camera out, take a look. There's the view where we're going, up towards Somme Sound. We're blazing along at 1.1. No, back down to 1. Now back up to 1.1. So not what I would call fast. And a couple of boats on moorings as we look over toward Mount Desert Island, and that's the west end of Greening Island there. And over here, there's a big Grand Banks. I think that's a 48. The sailboat that's got its sails stripped off behind it. Little day sailor. The white building over there with the big lawn is the Claremont Hotel. And the rest of this is summer cottages, looking out over the water on the north side of Clark Point, which is the point right there. So it's a very calm and peaceful day out here, but not exactly boisterous sailing. Well, there's the entrance to Somme Sound. We're not going to head over there because, as I said earlier, I don't think we have enough wind to sail against the tide. And so we're going to try to go over to Bear Island, which is a little island you can see over there past that dock. And as we've turned a little more upwind, we were on a broad reach, now we're on a beam reach, and we're up to 1.8 knots. Now over here, some of that is going to be tide. We've got an outgoing tide which is going to pick us up and carry us toward Bear Island. So as long as I can point more or less toward Bear Island, we should make it over there, even if half or more of our speed is from the tide. Right now, 1.8 knots. Well, we got out into the outgoing tide, and there's a little bit more wind here. We're making 3.1 knots to weather. And there's Sutton Island over there. And the combination of tide carrying us out and a little bit more wind here, as we're beating just about as high as we can, is giving us good boat speed. Well, better than 1 knot. We'll see what happens as we get over here, as we sail toward Bear Island, which is straight ahead. And we leave Somme Sound behind. Well, hopefully we'll get over there and be able to motor up the sound in sometime next week before Haulout. This is Gilpatrick Cove over here on the port side, where the Northeast Harbor racing fleet is usually moored. Normally there would be a bunch of International 1 designs and Lueders 16s here, and as you can see, just the 2 small center console power boats as we sail south-southeast toward Bear Island. And there's the north side of Greening Island over there. There's 1 Friendship sloop out sailing and 1 lobster boat, it looks like. And that's it. Here in early October 2023, it is not very busy sailing out here today. And if we're able to maintain this course over toward Bear Island, we will get a good look into Northeast Harbor. And we're making 2.8 knots now to weather, and we're probably getting about 1/2 to 3/4 of a knot of tidal boost. So that's welcome. And looks like no more races this summer. Now, here we are sailing past the day mark that marks the ledge. There's another day mark here at Gilpatrick Cove. And we're 100 feet from the day marks in 52 feet of water. Getting shallower though, but it'll deepen up again. Small lobster boat, probably a young guy, just starting out as we head toward Bear. I can point up a little more. We're making 3.9 knots, which is a lot more than I expected, given the forecast was for variable winds, 5 knots or less. Let's see how we do.
4 knots.
4 knots. Oh. Looking south out the western way, there's a barge headed over toward the Cranberry Islands, and a Friendship sloop sailing out there. There's actually a reasonable breeze out here. It's nice out here today, except for the fact that it's not very warm. Well, we're continuing east-southeast toward Bear Island, and this is the entrance to Northeast Harbor. And there are a few boats still in there. I can see 3 sailboats. There might be one more that comes into view as we come a little further over here. And it's pretty quiet and empty in there though. There are boats that overwinter on the mooring in Northeast Harbor. Not very many, but a few. It looks like there might be a wooden masted boat a little closer in, another sailboat. So maybe 5 sailboats in there. Whoa, no, maybe 6, because can see more masts as we continue toward Bear Island. And the large building on the shore over there is the Astaku Inn, the second oldest hotel remaining on Mount Desert Island. The Claremont Inn in Southwest Harbor is the oldest. They both date from the late 1800s. Okay, we're sailing past Bear Island with its lighthouse. Bear Island belongs to Acadia National Park, but they leased the lighthouse out about 40 years ago, and consequently the island is closed to the public. We can't go out there. And get a nice view of the Bear Island Lighthouse as we sail by, likely for the last time of the 2023 season. And we're thinking about maybe trying to sail past Sutton Island on the north side, although I see a sailboat coming in and doesn't look like there's a lot of wind in there. So we may tack and head toward the Great Harbor and the Western Way. There's Sutton Island and the Western Way, and this main body of water here is the Great Harbor of Mount Desert Island. And back there is where we came from. And here's our closest approach to the Bear Island Lighthouse. We're going to tack and head south toward the Western Way. Well, the wind was more southerly than I thought, and we're not really going to be able to point the Western Way, at least not now. And you can see it's kind of patchy, big flat areas with no wind. We're just sailing through one, and that's east toward the Bay of Fundy. And there's Sutton Island, and we're currently sailing just a little bit south of west toward Greening Island and Southwest Harbor. The wind is a little fluky out here as it sort of comes and goes. See how things go as we head back toward Southwest Harbor. Might tack again when we get up here a little bit and just see what it's like. Now there's, looking south, out the Western Way. And you can see that buoy in the middle of the Western Way. That's the three-tone gong that I sailed by during very light air just a few days ago. Well, we just tacked around off the eastern tip of Greening Island here, and we're headed back over toward Great Cranberry Island, right over there. And once we get over there, we'll tack around, and we're going to go in and take the sails off as the 2023 sailing season is going to come to an end. A couple other boats out sailing. That looks like a Hinkley Pilot. And up there, there's a Friendship sloop. And if we look around behind us, you can see the schooner Ambergris getting ready to sail out of Southwest Harbor for their sunset cruise. And there's one other sailboat. Looks like they're sailing out of the harbor too. So, not the most pretty day, but still, given what the forecast was, we had 4.5 knots a minute ago. So I'm not disappointed with the sailing today. I was expecting just to drift around. Well, we're headed east-southeast toward the Cranberries. There's the view toward Bear Island and Bear Island Light, the entrance to Northeast Harbor. And over there it looks like the top of Cadillac Mountain is in the clouds. There's a Friendship sloop sailing over there. Little Cranberry Island ahead, Sutton Island close, and over here we have Great Cranberry Island. We're going to head over that way, tack, and head in for the day. After about a 2.5 hour sail today. So the only negative of sailing out here today is that out here water is 13.9 Celsius and the air temperature probably isn't much higher. It's a little on the chilly side out here today. Well, the recreational boating season is definitely winding down here in Mount Desert Island, Maine. There's the Friendship Sloop Linda, which is a day charter boat headed back into Northeast Harbor. They just dropped their mainsail. They're gonna motor in, and they may come back out for a sunset cruise. I don't know. Have to get some sort of stoic passengers because it's not going to be warm. Probably under 50 degrees out here at sunset. And pretty quiet back that way. I think if I can stand up, I might be able to see. Yeah, schooner Ambergris is back there and one other sailboat. So it's pretty quiet out here today. Not many boats left. Most insurance companies require the boat to either be hauled out or laid up for the winter on November 1st. So we're gonna come out on the 18th of October, so we'll be 13 days ahead of the deadline. But you don't miss much. I mean, it's possible that we'll have a couple of perfect sailing days in the last 2 weeks of October, but most likely what we'll have is a couple of nor'easters, because the nor'easters usually start toward the end of October and definitely in November and December. So it's, you know, can still be fairly warm for another month, and we have gone into January here without any snow. That doesn't happen often, but it's happened a couple of times since we've been here in the last 24 years. But so it could happen, and could get some great sailing days in, but as I said, insurance is going to tell us that we have to be out of the water or at least laid up and the boat not used until the 1st of April next year. Very few people put their boats in April because it's cold out on the water. It would not be unusual in the middle of April, although we can put the boat in then, for it to be in the 30s out on the water, which is not the most pleasant sailing. Anyway, we're going to come up here just another half mile or so, and we're going to tack around and sail back to Southwest Harbor for the last time under sail for 2023. We might take the boat out under power early next week, but we'll just have to see what the weather looks like. This time of year, what they forecast for tomorrow can be completely wrong, so we'll just have to wait and see. So I think I'll call this video finished for the day, even though we still have probably about half an hour of sailing left, but I think the video is long enough already. Thanks for watching.